Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my 2023 to 2024 AFC East regular season predictions. I do predictions preseason every single year on the channel. I'm a little late to it this year, but I'm going to be getting them out fairly quickly, and they will all be out before the end of the season. Before the beginning of the season. I do divisional predictions, so I'll do one division at a time, and then after I finish every division, I will do a full playoff prediction video for the entire league. So let's get right into it. First off, we have the Buffalo Bills at 12-5. I have the Bills being the 2 seed this season. I have them winning 4 of their 6 divisional games and 9 of their 12 conference games, going 8-1 at home and 4-4 away, being a very strong home team, as well as winning 8 of their 13 games against winning teams and 4-0 against losing teams. I have not showed you, obviously, all of the records, so you won't know which of the teams are winning and which of them are losing, but the Bills had one of the hardest schedules in the league, as did the rest of the AFC East. I believe the Patriots were the second hardest in the league. So pretty tough division. Week 1, I have them losing in New York to the Jets. I have them splitting with both the Jets and Miami, losing away, and I have them beating the Patriots twice, as they've done the past couple of years. 2 of the last 3 years. I think they've won 5 of the last 6 games, so I expect they'll beat the Patriots twice this year once again. I have them losing to the Jets the first game of the season. I almost swapped these games and had the Jets win at home and the Bills have the Jets win away and the Bills win away, because they're both in New York, so their teams both travel well against each other. So home field doesn't make too big of a difference, but I think that it would be really cool if Aaron Rodgers came out in his debut with the Jets and got a big win against Buffalo. So I did pick the Jets to win at home week 1. I have the Bills winning week 2 against the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are going to be bad this year, but I don't think they're going to be phenomenal. So I think that's a pretty fair pick for week 2. Week 3, I have them beating Washington in Washington. Week 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, I have them winning. I have them winning 7 in a row from week 2 to week 8. 3 home games against Miami, the Jaguars, and the Giants. I think that the Jaguars and Miami are both very tough matchups in that stretch, but they're both home games, and I think that the Bills are a more consistent team than both Jacksonville and Miami, and they've been good for longer. So I think that they're going to have the advantage in both of those games. Obviously, Miami, I believe that they will split, so I think they'll lose the next game against them. But the Jaguars game, I think that that's really a toss-up. I think that obviously it's going to come down to if Trevor Lawrence has a good game or not. You know, Josh Allen's always going to have at least an okay game, but with Trevor Lawrence, either he's going to have a great game or he's not going to have the most amazing game in the world. So I think that depending on how he plays will depend on the victory. I think that Buffalo will win it, though. At home against the Giants, I think should be a fairly straightforward win for them. Daniel Jones is pretty decent, but I think that the Bills' defense will do a good job keeping him and Saquon Barkley under control. And the Giants' defense was pretty good last year, but I think that the Bills' offense matches up well against them, especially with James Cook developing in the offseason. Again, I have them beating the Patriots twice, and then the next game is against Tampa. Tampa should be a pretty straightforward win. Week 9, I have them losing in Cincinnati, and I have them beating the Chiefs week 14. So I have them losing to the Bengals, and I have them beating Kansas City. I think that Josh Allen will finally break his losing streak to Patrick Mahomes. He's had a pretty rough go at it against Patrick Mahomes, so I think that out of the best teams in the AFC, he's going to have a 1-2 record. No, a 1-1 record this year against those two. I have him beating the Broncos. I have the Bills beating the Broncos and the Jets at home. The Broncos game, I think, could be tough. I'm not really sure how the Broncos are going to be this year. I have the Broncos doing okay, but nothing special, so we'll see how the Broncos actually turn out. I have them losing to both Dallas and the Eagles. Realistically, I think that they'll win one of those games, but I think that they're going to be stronger in the AFC than in the NFC, because the Bills usually play their conference pretty well, and they usually play the NFC not that great. So I have them losing to both the Eagles and the Cowboys, but it's more than likely they'll win one of those games. Week 16, I have them beating the Chargers in Los Angeles. The Chargers also have an astronomically difficult schedule. I think that that'll be a tight game, but I think that the Bills are going to end up winning. And the last 2 weeks of the season, I have them beating the Patriots at home and losing in Miami. Miami does well in Miami, especially Week 18, so I think that's a pretty likely scenario. Next, we have the 10-7 Miami Dolphins. I have the Dolphins at the 5 seed. I have them going 3-3 in their division and 6-6 in the conference, with a home record of 7-2 and an away record of 3-5. Versus winning teams, I have them going 7-7, and versus losing teams, I have them going undefeated, 3-0. So similar to Buffalo, but I have them with a worse record against winning teams. Week 1, I have them losing to the Chargers in Los Angeles. I think the Chargers are going to come out strong this year, although I don't think that they're going to have an amazing regular season just because of their schedule. I do think that they'll come out strong with a win against Miami at home. It's going to be a tight, high-scoring game, but I think the Chargers will get it. Week 2, they're against the Patriots. I think the Patriots will win this one. They're going to be coming off of most likely a loss to the Eagles. So Week 2, they're going to want to make a statement, and I think that Mac Jones is going to be able to pull together a pretty decent game to make a statement Week 2 against Miami at home. I do have the Dolphins winning at home later on in the season to the Patriots, so I have them splitting. Week 3, I have the Dolphins beating the Broncos at home. Again, the Broncos game is a toss-up. I'm not really sure how the Broncos are going to be. I gave the winner of most of the Broncos games to the home team this season. So I gave Miami the win this in Week 3 against the Broncos because they are the home team. Week 4, I have the Bills beating the Dolphins, obviously splitting on the season. Week 5, I have the Dolphins beating the Giants at home. And Week 6, I have them beating the Panthers at home. I think that the Giants and Panthers are both pretty decent teams this year with a lot of young talent, good running backs, and okay quarterbacks. But I think that the Dolphins are going to, by this point in the season, I think that Tua is going to be pretty healthy. The Dolphins are going to be improving every week, and this is going to be the height of their season. I think that they're going to peak in the middle of the season this year instead of having a strong beginning and a strong end like last year. And I think that they're going to have a really strong middle of the season. I have them beating the Eagles in Philadelphia. I have the Eagles winning a lot of games in this conference, but in this division, but I do have the Dolphins winning this one. I think that it's going to be a tight game, obviously, but I just have a feeling that the Dolphins have an explosive enough offense that the Eagles' defense will have some issues with them, and I think that the Dolphins have a pretty solid chance of winning against Jalen Hurts. It seems like a matchup that would be good for them. I'm not really sure exactly why. It just seems like a game that Miami would win, especially like the Ravens game last year, like some of the other ones. It seems like a game that the Dolphins would pull out a victory with. Week 8, I have them winning against the Patriots at home, and I have them losing in Kansas City Week 9. Again, that's going to be another tight game, but I think Kansas City should be able to take that one home. And then when they go into their bye Week 10 with a 6-4 record, or 5-4 record. Week 11, I have them beating the Raiders at home. I think it'll be a pretty solid win. I think that the Raiders, again, are an okay team, but I think Miami has a pretty solid advantage over them. Week 12, I have the Jets beating Miami at home, so I have them splitting with the Jets. Week 13, I have the Dolphins beating the Commanders in Washington. Yeah, I have Washington basically getting stomped by the AFC East. I think that Washington's going to be okay, but I think the AFC East is significantly better. Week 14, I have the Titans beating the Dolphins away. I think that this is a toss-up game as well, but I gave the Dolphins a couple of weird ones. I think that the Titans are going to be a pretty solid team, and I think that their defense is strong enough that they could have a good game against the Miami offense, and I think that Derrick Henry could run all over the Dolphins defense on any given day. Week 15, I have the Dolphins winning at home against the Jets. Week 16, I have them losing to Dallas, and then I have them beating the Ravens like they did last year in Baltimore and beating the Bills at home. Moving on to the Jets, I have the Jets at the 8th seed in the AFC based on tiebreakers, and I have them going 9-8. I have them going 3-3 in their division and 7-5 in the conference with a 7-2 home record and a 2-6 away record. I have them 4-5 against winning teams and 5-3 against losing teams. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a pretty solid season, and I think that he could potentially make the playoffs, and I think the Jets could potentially win the division. I'd give them probably a 5 to 10% chance, maybe 20% chance of winning the division, but so I don't think it's super high, but there's definitely the possibility that Aaron Rodgers could have a phenomenal season with the Jets. He's getting older, so we're going to see if last year was a fluke thing, or if he's going to go back to normal, or if he's just starting to regress with old age. Not that last year was a terrible season for Aaron Rodgers, but it wasn't his best. Week 1, I have them winning at home against the Bills, obviously, as I've already mentioned. I have them losing in Dallas Week 2. I think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to have a strong start to the season, so I think that'll be a tough matchup for them. And then I have them winning a couple of interesting games. I have them winning at home against the Patriots, which would be their first win against the Patriots in about 10 years. And then I have them winning at home against Kansas City. I think that the possibility of the Patriots sweeping the Jets this year is non-zero. I think that they could continue that streak, but I think it's more than likely they'll split. But Week 4 against the Chiefs, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to want to prove something, and he's going to win that game. I think that he's going to mark that game on his calendar. That's going to be his game, and they're going to win it. Week 5, I have the Broncos beating the Jets at home. Again, Broncos, I've picked them to mostly win their home games. Week 6, I have the Eagles beating the Jets in Philadelphia. Again, I have the Eagles basically stomping the AFC East and the AFC East stomping Washington. I have the Giants winning in New York. This one was a toss-up. I almost gave it to the Jets because it's kind of a neutral field, but I do think that the Giants are going to have a decent game. And I think Saquon Barkley, it's basically going to be Saquon Barkley versus Breece Hall. I think whoever has a better game out of those two is going to win the game. And Saquon Barkley, I think, is more consistent. Week 9, I have the Jets beating the Chargers at home. And Week 10, I have them beating the Raiders in Las Vegas. The second half of the season, I have them going 4-4. So I have them starting off 5-4 and finishing 4-4. And I have every single game being won by the home team. So I have them winning at home against the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Texans, and Washington. I think that 3 of those games are locks, basically, between the Falcons, Washington, and the Texans. And the Dolphins game, obviously, I think they'll split. Whether they win in Miami and lose at home, or win at home and lose in Miami, either way, I think the Jets will split with the Dolphins. And then I have them losing in Buffalo and winning and losing in New England. Week 17, though, that Browns game, I think that at that point in the season, the Browns would win the game. If it's week 1 through 8, I think that the Jets would win it, but because it's week 17, I think the Browns will have had enough time to establish themselves and have a solid team to be able to win that game at home. Finally, last but not least, we have the New England Patriots. I have the Patriots finishing off 8-9 this season at the 10 seed in the AFC. I have them going 2-4 in their division, 6-6 in the conference, 6-3 at home, and 2-6 away. I have them 3-7 versus winning teams and 5-2 versus losing teams. Although that is likely to change, that's likely to be incorrect because the Patriots usually do well against good teams and poorly against bad teams. So they'll probably finish like 4-6 against winning teams and 4-5 against losing teams or something. I have them losing week 1 against the Eagles, although I think that since that's a free game and they're expecting to lose, there could potentially be upset territory in that as a home game, and it being the Tom Brady game. So a couple of factors there. I obviously think the Eagles are going to win, but it could be a potential upset. Week 2, I have the Patriots beating Miami for the split. Week 3, I have them losing to the Jets for the split. Week 4, I have them losing to the Cowboys. The Cowboys game in 2021 was extraordinarily close, and the Patriots could have taken that with a victory. I think that this year the Cowboys are going to take it once again in Dallas, but I think it could be a close game this year again. It really depends on the Patriots' schedule. Really depends on how Mac Jones plays. If Mac Jones plays like he did in 2021, the Patriots could have 10 wins or better. If he plays better than he did in 2021, they could have 10 wins. If he plays worse than he did in 2022, they could have 6 wins or 5. So the Patriots are probably going to be somewhere between 5 and 10 wins based on how Mac plays. The Cowboys game is really going to come down to the defense, though. I really don't think that Mac alone can win that game because of how good the Cowboys defense is. So it's really going to come down to if the Patriots can hold Dallas to under 20 points. Week 5, I have the Patriots beating the Saints at home. I think the Saints are going to be a solid team, but I think they're going to take some weeks to get used to the new quarterback, figure out who their quarterback is, whether it's going to be Derek Carr or Jameis Winston. It'll most likely be Carr, but you never know with the Saints. And then once they figure that out, I think that they'll be better. But week 5, I think that the Patriots will be a more solid and established team. Week 6, I have them beating the Raiders in Las Vegas. I think that we're going to get revenge. That was a stupid game last year. I think the Patriots will win this one, week 6. Week 7, I have the Bills winning in New England. I have the Bills sweeping the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots could potentially split the series, but I think it's more than likely Buffalo will sweep. Week 8, I have them losing in Miami because we always lose in Miami. And then week 9 and 10, I have the Patriots beating the Washington Commanders and winning against Indianapolis at home. I think that the Patriots have a better team than both Washington and Indianapolis, so I think that these home games should be wins. But one of those is most likely to be a loss. The Patriots tend to lose random games in the middle of the season very badly. They lost to the Titans 4 or 5 years ago before they were consistently good. They lost a weird game to Houston when they were bad. They lost a weird game last year to the Bears. There's a lot of games where the Patriots decide to just drop one in the middle of the year, so I think that one of these two is probably going to be the one this year. Week 11 is a bye. I think that coming out of the bye, they're going to be a little obviously worse than they were at the... Actually, no, it's better. I have them going 3-3. So after the bye, I have them being okay. I have them losing to the Giants in New York. I think that the Giants don't necessarily have a better team. I just think that the Giants are going to be a more consistent team this year, so I'm giving it to the Giants at home. I have the Patriots beating the Chargers in New England. The Patriots have beaten the Chargers the last 2 times they've played them, and I think that they could potentially win a third in a row. Justin Herbert doesn't necessarily play us super good, and our offense is usually able to have a pretty solid game. Week 14, I have us beating the Steelers. Again, we've been pretty consistent against the Steelers over a certain period of time that I think the Patriots should be able to win that one. I have the Patriots getting demolished by Kansas City, probably like 47-2. Week 15. Week 16, I have us losing in Denver once again because I think Denver is mostly going to win their home games and lose their away games. I'm not sure why that's my metric, but that's kind of been my metric for Denver's picks just because I really have no idea what to think about them because last year I was super high on them, and this year I think it's going to be somewhere between last year and where my expectations are. Week 17, I have them losing in Buffalo, and Week 18, I have them beating the Jets, being the spoiler for the Jets' playoff hopes. Obviously, the Jets could win that game and make the playoffs, but I think that the Patriots are going to do everything in their power to make sure the Jets don't make the playoffs. So, those are my AFC East regular season predictions. Buffalo at 12-5, Kansas City at Dolphins at 10-7, Jets at 9-8, and Patriots at 8-9. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I will be doing the rest of the divisions coming up in the next couple of weeks. Next will be the AFC North, and then the AFC West, and then the AFC South, and then I'll do the NFC. So, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.